organizations, thank you, prioritize and take efforts efficiently. It also serves as a real guideline. Thereby, it can make a lot of difference for individuals. And that way, today's topic is very important. It can motivate and inspire action once people are aware of what they are doing. And that is one thing which we would look into it. Today's resources from VAC Solution, and I am delivering this program on behalf of VAC Solution, and I am thankful to Arun Subramanian sir for this initiative, which I would like to highlight about. Okay, as usual, we will start with a case study. I want those newcomers also to have a look into it. The context is very clear. The product rollout that didn't derail is the topic. What exactly the thing is, Meera is a middle-level manager at Brightform Solution and was tasked leading a cross-functional team. And not only that, what exactly the thing is, one second. Okay, yeah. Cross-functional team to launch a new SaaS. SaaS means software as a solution product, targeting small logistic companies, and was to roll out within 5 months, capture early adopters, and demonstrate traction for the potential investors' pitch. What exactly happened, if you just look into it, in the very first meeting with her team, what Meera did was she refused to start the meeting with the Gantt chart. Gantt chart is by Gantt, who's an American mechanical engineer and a social scientist who looked at product management. Okay, what instead she did is she actually asked the state room in a pin form, and thereby actually she asked a question: what will success look for us at the end of this project? And after a 2 hours discussion, they arrived at a particular picture of success and wrote it on a large sheet of paper. And that stayed pinned in the room till the project was over. And that set the background. Next, what she did was she asked each department head to explain what would need to happen for their side to meet that vision. The whiteboard was given and it was filled up quickly with a lot of ideas. It became clear that it was not just a simple project, but it is something which is very special. The sales team had to lead a whole new customer segment. The legal pointed out a compliance clause in one of the state, and which could delay actually the process. And you will also find that the design team was worried about the need for multilingual support. Over the next few weeks, the team began to identify potential issues. People openly admitted knowledge gaps. 2 team members expressed hesitation. One was skeptical about the timeline, and the other was unsure of the customer problem. There were some tense moments. A few members admitted they felt they were nodding along in the meeting and didn't understand part of the plan. Many of the meetings, that's exactly what happens. At one point, the senior marketing leader talked to Meera privately, and he said, I'm not sure we are doing this for a right reason. Are we solving a real problem? Are we just rushing to show something to investors? Meera didn't dismiss any of these ideas. Instead, she turned these concerns into group conversation. Bit by bit, people began to own the outcomes. The hesitant member in product design requested an interview with 5 real customers. The skeptical marketer volunteered to rework the positioning. One white analyst offered to build a dashboard to track lead sources on a weekly basis. Meera set up a shared online board where teams logged in weekly progress, blockers, and lessons learned. Every Friday, They spent 15 minutes reviewing it, not to assign blame, but to look for pattern. 1 week, they realized half the leads were bouncing at the demo stage. Instead of blaming the sales team, the product team tweaked the onboarding process. 3 months later, the CEO dropped into one of the meetings unannounced and was surprised. And he said, "You're ahead of the schedule." The team smiled, "Just slightly, sir. We also killed two feathers. We thought we were clever, but weren't needed. We will explain why at the demo stage." 6 months later, the product had been launched in 2 regions with early traction with 28 customers and zero team turnover. And the investors were very happy with what exactly the thing is, and pitched and backed not just by metrics, but by the team's maturity. This is the case study. I want you to, what exactly to do is take a screenshot of this particular page. Have you done it?
Yes, sir.
Right, thank you. Okay. From this story, can you identify the silent process that made this team succeed? What you are expected to do is you need to map out what steps they took and how they succeeded after initial complications. Now the time is 8:20 in my watch. What I'll do is I'll give 20 minutes and I will ensure that we will go for a breakout room. 1 second, I'll stop share. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give a breakout room. There are 63 participants. I'll break out the room into 6 rooms for a 20-minute
Mr. Suresh,
duration.
sir, that will be Mr. Suresh, that will be spreading it too thin. Just break it into 3 rooms, 20 each, and
Okay,
then you will have sufficient time for them also to give a debriefing.
Okay,
Just
sir.
a suggestion. If you
Thank
want,
you.
you can do it for 6, no issue.
Thank you. We will have rather 15 and 4 groups because everyone we need to participate. That is what I thought about it. What we will do is we will have 3 breakout rooms, right, assigned automatically, and each one of them
I'm
will
doing
be
it at 4.
participating.
As you suggested, I'm creating 4 breakout rooms.
Okay, sir.
It is created, the rooms have been opened.
Right, sir.
Request all members to kindly move towards the breakout room, please. Please move towards the breakout room. The more you delay, the less time you will have in the breakout room to work on the problem. Mr. Nageshwar Kumar, why you are not moving to the breakout room, please? Please move towards the breakout rooms.
Hello, Madhur sir, are we in the breakout room?
Mr. Nagesha Kumar, what happened? Why you are not moving?
Hello?
Yes. Yes, Mr. Nagesha Kumar, what happened? ఎందుకు మనకి ఎందుకు ఇది
లాగుతున్నా
ఇక్కడ ఏదో పట్టుకున్నట్టుంది మనకి
అలా ఎలా పట్టుకుంది?
సారీ సార్, మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి సార్. సారీ సార్, మ్యూట్.
Yeah, welcome back to the room. Hope you had good discussion. How was the experience, particularly all the newcomers, the big school students? I would like to have one or two people sharing their views, how they felt about the overall case study. Did you participate?
Yes, sir. It was nice. The participation was good. And we got some feedbacks or the inputs.
Thank you, Naresh. Anyone else from the B schools, new people who have joined? Yeah, Priya,
Yes, sir. I
please.
would like to share some. Yes, sir. So we had a good
How was the breakout room
brainstorming session on the
experience?
case study.
You
Yes,
took
sir. It
part?
was great. Yes, sir. I have shared my
Very
couple
good.
of points. It was an brainstorming session for us indeed,
Very
and we
good.
have come up with some really good points.
Right. Now what we'll do is, we will go team-wise. Which team would like to volunteer? And I hope you have all selected some representative for each of the team. Shall we go for, which team would like to volunteer first to present?
We would like to volunteer first, sir.
Yeah, please, Prasud, go ahead.
Okay, so the first point is that the team leader was able to develop a sense of ownership and a sense of belonging in the minds of the employees, in which they were able to feel emotionally attached to this project and company. And second is they actually made the employees' vision, like you should, like what would be success at the end of this project, as creating a sense of vision. It's like similarly giving the brain input on feeling what success means like, which should give them or motivate them to contribute more. Third is cross-functional team were put to work together, specifically mentioning their roles and responsibilities in achieving the dedicated results. Fourth is the psychological safety, mentioning that anyone can show and raise issues and disputes with respect to the work. Then for continuous improvement, 2 hours for the initial meeting and the plan to how to execute the program. 2 hours they took to brainstorm and discuss and to come up with a time frame, and they put this into a chart and posted it on the wall so that they can daily see it and they can get motivated daily. Next is the collaboration between the employees, which help them to like keep engaged and support each other to progress. Next is a 15 minutes daily micro planning to execute and for continuous improvement. Next is that they have removed 2 features of the software which were unnecessary. As you know, like when we are buying a software, there would be so many features. There would be features which are relevant for our industry. There would be additional features also. So they reduced the time by removing 2 new additional features. And
Little brief, Prasud, 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
We have to give time for everyone.
Yeah, and team did not blame each other and supported each other. This was a very important point. And the last point is that they added new customers without checking the turnover, because like the initial project was only a prototype. So this is my feedback, sir, from my team.
From team 3, very good. Now team 2. Can anyone from team 2 present it?
Yeah, I'll be taking up the presentation. Okay, so So large group was completely aligned towards a lot of the points which have been shared by team one. I may repeat a couple of them. So one of the things which was spoken about by team three also was about this building a psychological basis where a shared vision across the team was built. So everyone. So there was no formal Gantt chart kind of thing which was completely avoided. And everyone in the team was because they had contributed in the early stages of defining the vision, they were more likely to take the ownership of what was being built as a product, and was also in terms of the output goal which was informally defined, built with their ownership. So that was more important because the goal was now no longer built by a singular leadership, but was built by them jointly. That was one thing. The second was that business reviews, they were always very frequent. They were what was spoken about, weekly reviews were there, even daily micro reviews were there, and they were completely informal. So there was no system where there was any kind of blame game happening, and people were motivated to come out with dissension. And this whole process, the way it was done, it was allowing the dissenters to come to the forefront from the very early stage. Now, this kind of a process always has a lot of benefit because, people who are dissenters, they are the people who will actually give you the pitfalls which are, likely to occur in any project. Initially, we tend to dislike them, but, the real benefit of such situations we tend to overlook because if we understand what are the likely pitfalls, then we are more guarded, or we actually build systems that will avoid all those pitfalls. That's the first thing. Then the top-down, waterfall model was avoided, and critical thinking was encouraged. This is a very key skill that was being built, that people across teams, because it was a cross-functional project, and very early on, that cross-functional alignment was built because everybody had contributed in setting the goal, the timelines, the team engagement models, and not to just say that there was a team engagement. There was also participation from customers. So in that sense, you are not only limiting it to an internal thing, you are trying to slowly build a prototype and try and understand, will this succeed or will this actually fail when you take it to a larger group of customers and things like that. So simple tracking system was built. That has already been pointed out, that no faults were people were encouraged to to cover up those areas. So it's not just fault finding. And the biggest thing which also was pointed out by team 3 was that unnecessary work was also avoided. So many points which were unnecessary features, they were dropped by joint consensus. So that's a good point because it will improve system efficiency, and delivery will be much faster. So I think these are more of the points, although one person in the team felt very strongly that the system was completely haywire, and it needed to be more formalized, and this kind of informal systems generally fall flat on their face. So this was so in a group of probably 6 or 7, I didn't really count the number of people, but one person had a dissent on this entire.
Well done, team 2, you have done a good job. And now let us move to team 1. Team 1, it's your turn to
I'll be
make the
presenting on behalf of T1. Yeah, we had discussed what the other two teams have already kind of presented, but still we also looked into what the structure of the whole thing would be like. When we are looking at it from a structural point of view, any project to be successful has to have a clarity in goal. It has to have the resources. It has to take care of the interdepartmental snacks and the customer feedback and the review and the final outcome. So this was any project has to go through all these, and all of these were taken care of very beautifully by the project manager, Meera, because it was not a tops-down approach, it was a bottom-up approach, because she initially bought in the consent of all the stakeholders by giving them the option of finding what success meant to them for each one of them. So the project had a personal meaning for each one of them. So in that particular way, she got the buy-in, which is most important for any project to succeed. Once that buy-in had happened, the second most issue would be the interdepartmental rivalries or interdepartmental coordination. This was taken care of by making all of the departments that are involved into it in a particular room to list out what all they can contribute to the project. Rather than telling about finding out ways and means, they said, what all you can contribute, put it on the board. So each one of them could bring out all of what they could contribute, which enabled each of the departments to, have in a spirit of competitive contribution rather than competitive dissonance with each other. So that was a good point. And the third thing, after allocation of resources, there are some people who will not be who will be having ideas or dissent but not heard. And they will be the silent killers, maybe, who will jeopardize the project. They were also given a chance by giving the psychological safety of being able to tell out the dissenting points without any objection. So they felt heard, so they started owning up the project and coming out with their own contribution personally also, though they initially were feeling reluctant. And fourthly, there was this review, which was not a review per se, but kind of tracking of the progress and removal of the hurdles. So it was kind of a on the go tracking as well as adjusting to the realities. And they also had the customer feedback involved in it, even in the planning stage, so that they could find out exactly what the customer needed. All of this helped in providing a solution which was far ahead of the time they committed, and also they could find out what all were irrelevant and could remove it. So this was a particular example where everything went smoothly according to the structure, because the project leader was not egoistic and wanted the project to be done. So this could be a good example for a project, cross-functional project, to be done. This was our discussion.
Thank you very much, Team 1. That was a good presentation, and there are several interesting points you brought out. Now it's time for Team 4. Team 4, please do give your observations based on this case.
Mr. Naresh, can you present it?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah. In our team's observation, individual success is not team success, whereas team success is individual's success. This is what Meera's approach. With an underlining project proposal, she has that idea of Gantt chart in her purview, and basing on that, she created a visualization among all the team members, which had an effect on Meera to create a scheduler. And it was democratic approach, so that everyone had an inclusive participation into this project. Something like a 360-degree approach for all members and all teams. With this, the team got empowered and people came out with new ideas or thoughts or hurdles that could come across the project. This has reduced the slack time in understanding the project, so that on the board itself, the total planning happened. This reduced the reworking of the project, so that they had a lot of time to overcome the hurdles and improve the concepts or wherever the voids are there. And significant risk assessment has happened in the planning stage itself. This reduced the timeline, project timeline. And frequent brainstorming every week, every Friday, 15 minutes, crisp brainstorming sessions and review option gave all the members an opportunity to speak up, to share their thoughts, to take up inputs, And most of it all, they're not fearful of the repercussions because there is nothing that who did wrong. It's more about what is that we can do, how better we can move forward. So there is no reprimand. That helped them, everyone to be participative. And this review to respond kind of a session brought in a solution-driven approach by enabling open communication. And the most important thing, dashboard. The day one at the planning stage itself, creating a dashboard, who are all giving what all inputs or who are all responsible for what kind of topics, like legal team, marketing, sales, development, customer relations, whatever it is. Everyone had their specific role. And the legal team had some doubts which were cleared off. And the development team had some doubts which were cleared off. All this helped to understand the project at the board level, I mean, planning level. Instead of this, if everyone has given a task, do this, do this, do this, they will not have coordination. This kind of board level planning helped them coordinate, have a intertwined idea, which created a canvas of beautiful picture of the project that made the project be delivered early in timeline. This brought the participants' willingness to participate in discussion, and all the concerns were closed with knowledge gaps. There are no knowledge gaps. So everyone is empowered and everyone knows what they are doing and where they are reaching. It is a total collaboration concept. And everyone is accountable and everyone has the onus of the project. So it is a team going across towards a common goal, and it made them finish the project in early. By the time the CEO came within 3 months, he was praising the team that you are an early birds. You are ahead of the schedule. This shows the planning is more important than delegating a task. By this, they had ample time to test the product and soft launch it and then take it to the market. This is how we can make a soft launch or an organization to go further. It can make everyone in the team of an organization be accountable and own the organization. Then only it will run properly. The growth happens then itself. This is our team's inputs.
I just want to add one more thing along with.
Yeah, quickly, sir.
You know, the Mira's approach allowed flexibility to adapt every changing requirements, concerns of all the team members, enabling the faster delivery of the product. This iterative approach helps to identify and mitigate all the concerns earlier in the project cycle. See, Gantt chart is basically more of a waterfall method, best suited for a project with stable and well-defined requirements. Whereas a SaaS is not like that. Here, it is more of a Scrum approach, as we call it as software. It is a Scrum approach. Everybody is involved. Instead of a sprint meeting in the Scrum, here they put it on the dashboard so that everybody contributed. Similarly, in the Scrum, everybody contributed in the meeting, whereas the visibility is here, they put it on the board. So there was a total collaborative approach. Everybody is involved, everybody was valued, and everybody was recognized. So when the CEO came, he saw
Little
that.
briefly, sir. Little briefly, sir.
Yeah,
For
he
your time.
appreciated and congratulated the team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, every one of you. You have all discussed well and brought out a lot of important points. So what is very important is one of the most powerful and overlooked drivers of engagement is how we define and communicate objectives. It is not just enough to assign tasks, but we create and distribute objectives that resonate deeply with the universal needs and fundamental needs of the people. What exactly we need to do is to check In setting objectives, it is necessary to have clarity, understanding complexity, challenges, and also have commitment, monitor it so that you can ensure that the project is successful. Let us look step by step how Mira worked on this process so that you are able to come into this particular case study. Okay. So the first thing which I just wanted to highlight is all about clarity. Clarity is very, very important when you are taking up a project, because without clarity, people will not know what to do. What exactly, where it happened and how it is. Mira opened the first meeting with the question, what will success look for us at the end of this project? So what exactly she did is, she set the tone of the meeting very clearly so that everyone is able to have a clear idea. And the 2-hour discussion also brought out a lot of factors. What was achieved? Unified the team around a shared and specific outcome, turned an abstract goal, like we are going to launch a product, into a vivid, agreed upon picture. Thirdly, you will find that it created an emotional and visual anchoring, because they used the whiteboard, they used the Gantt chart, they did everything so that the success statement stayed on the wall throughout this project. This is something very much necessary if we need to have every team member aligned with the goals. When we talk about clarity, what has exactly happened? Let us just look into it. See, Mira began by asking, what will success look like for us? The team had a 2-hour discussion to align on a specific shared vision of success. Correct? And next, what exactly happened? Let us see. Universal need is fulfilled. What is universal need? It is everyone's requirements, need for purpose and meaning. If there is no purpose and meaning that is very clear for people, they will not be involved in any work. And that is what has been taken care by Mira. The third aspect is about the individual fundamental needs, the need for shared vision and direction. And this, once again, you will find that people themselves came out with it, and Mira also helped them by discussion instead of assigning the task. What is the justification? Clarity brings purpose by involving the team in crafting a shared definition of success. Mira helps satisfy the universal human need to work on something which is very, very meaningful. People don't just want to complete tasks. They want to know that their efforts contribute to a larger purpose. This is not a top-down, as many of you have highlighted. They co-created the goal. That's how the need for shared direction was fulfilled. The clarity wasn't just in the content, but it is to create the ownership of that content. That is very, very. Hope you are all very clear about this particular aspect. How did this approach create ownership early? Can anyone throw some light? How this approach created ownership? I
Each
think
one
you are
of them
muted,
had
or
a vision
your
of
sound
the
is.
success.
Oh, yeah, sir.
Each
So
one of them
everybody
had a vision of the
in the
success of the
initial
project.
stage, sorry.
Any one of you?
Yeah, I'm Rajan Varshan. The initial hiccups, the problems which some team members were thinking, or some were not engaged properly, or they were not able to point out what could be the hiccups. They were given opportunity to suggest about what could be the problems. Like legal team suggested something. So these things came out early. So solutions to them also came out early, and main thing is people who pointed out the things, they also suggested solutions also.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And it
Yeah,
was well
Ultimately,
that
it's
is
discussed.
involvement of all people, involvement of the team members. That is the purpose.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, very good.
And simply nodding peoples were also brought into the system, owning and
Right.
suggesting solution and contributing.
Okay, okay. What exactly we'll see what the aspect is. Mira approach for fostered ownership from the outset by inviting the team to co-define success. Rather than just passive recipient of a top-down mandate where task is assigned. When people are asked, what will success look for each one of you? It started making them to mentally think and emotionally invest in the outcome. It became their goal, not just only of Mira. Second, there is a personal relevance. Team members saw how their role is connected to the outcome. Each one of them understood what they are supposed to do so that the outcome is achieved. Second, the shared vision. The goal was not imposed but constructed together, increasing their commitment. The third one, if you look into it, is the psychological safety, which many of you have pointed out. The openness, the encouraged expression, contribution, and the initiative, all these things made a difference. So, what exactly the thing is, as a result, the team didn't wait to be told. And what they did was they started to take responsibility for making things to happen. And the project success is in their own ways. That is what it is. Now, the second question that comes is, how did it differ from just assigning tasks or setting a deadline? Usually in traditional side, what will happen? The team lead or anyone will assign a job and say, these are the jobs you are supposed to do, and we want a deadline, and within that, you are expected to complete the task. But instead, what exactly Mira did? Mira started with a meaning, not just mechanics. That's a very important aspect. And second, she allowed the goal to be shaped collaboratively before breaking it down. And lastly, the third one is she allowed the goal to shape collaboratively before it is taken down and create space for people to understand interdependence and the complexities. All these things were taken into consideration. So that what exactly happened is there is a shift in the mindset from what I am supposed to do, which is an individual aspect, to what do we need as a team to achieve, and how can I contribute to this goal is what they all looked into it. By doing this, this difference may look very, very subtle, but it is very, very powerful. Assigning tasks triggers obligation, whereas inviting contribution triggers ownership. This is a very, very important aspect. So for those students who are here present also, tomorrow when you go for job, it's very important that assigning tasks is easiest thing, but it will only make them to feel obligated. Whereas when you invite contribution, it triggers ownership. The second aspect which we would like to look into it after the clarity is to look at the complexity. Why it happened? Can anyone remember? Okay. Mira asked each team head to describe what achieving the goal would involve. Correct? And what surfaced? Interdependence, particularly the sales learning curve, compliance issues, multilingual designs. Second, scope. What are the new markets we have to look into it? What are the timelines and what are the skills that is needed? And lastly but not least, people began to understand this wasn't a plug and play project. Just layer by layer, the variables emerged. And that is a very, very important aspect which we need to look into it. So why is it important to expose complexity at the very early stage? What will happen if we assume everything is easy and doable? Can anyone share something of thought?
Maybe we'll take it for granted. We might not focus so much.
Okay, very good.
Probably we would focus more on what we think needs our attention further. So that's how it is.
So
Very good.
the other thing I'd like to say is that, the challenges will emerge at a very later stage, which will endanger the timeline of delivery. Because if you don't understand the complexity, it is very likely, because you are focused on the task, when it comes with the challenge, that time the stretch will happen, and then even there could be a danger of, everybody going into a blame game. So you didn't do this, you didn't do that. I could do it because, you didn't contribute. So that challenge of cross-functional, alignment, that was also, avoided by understanding the complexity of the task. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Hitendra. As such, what you said was very, very important. Each department was asked to outline so that there is no surprise element that is there. See, you found that some of them clearly express there is a knowledge gap. Some of them very clearly express we don't have experience about this particular market. We would like to explore about it. So what they started doing is initial stage itself, they came out with their gaps. What need to happen from the end is that the complexity emerged from compliance challenges to multi-language design. So what is the universal need that's fulfilled? Need for belonging and recognition. That's very important because everyone need to participate in it. And the fundamental need is to be heard, valued. What Meera did when there was a knowledge gap or other issues they brought out, she simply acknowledged it. She didn't put it aside. And that is something very, very important for a team lead. And by surfacing the complexity through cross-functional input, Meera created a space where each team member felt that their voice mattered. People don't feel engaged when their domain knowledge is ignored or overridden. Here, Meera gave the teams the space to showcase their depth, thus fulfilling the need to be valued, not just as warm bodies executing tasks, but as subject matter experts contributing to success. Usually, one of the major challenges in a team is that people are assigned job and they are asked to do without asking questions. They don't want the leaders to be questioned. But in this case, Meera very clearly made them to express their concerns. And that is something which talked about the need for hearing and value for expertise. Why is it essential to expose complexity early? Wonderfully said by Hitendra sir. People feel respected for their input. Second, realistic plans are made with buffers and backups so that there is no surprise elements that is being pulled out. Third, team members are more willing to collaborate proactively rather than reactively. This is very important because what exactly happens is they start thinking about what are all the possible complexities that can emerge about it and thereby plug in all these aspects. So what exactly happens in teams that assume everything is simple and doable? This is the danger. The danger is that they underestimate, underprepared for bottlenecks. So suddenly when there's a bottleneck, they're all stuck. And that's something which was very effectively avoided by Meera. Second aspect, if you just look into it, is they miss hidden risk and interdepartmental friction. And thirdly, they feel blindsided when things don't go as expected, which leads to blame or disengagement. What Meera did was something very ideal. She exposed the complexity early and helped the team to see the whole landscape, including interdependencies, risk, unknown factors. It prevents overconfidence, align expectation, and trigger early planning for coordination. That's why you will find that some of the people volunteered. I will go and meet 5 real-time customers. All these things were quite possible, right? I'm sure you are getting slowly a hang of what is very important when you are going to create a clear purpose and alignment of the purpose with the entire team. What are the challenges and where it happened? Let us just look into it. That is important for us to say. Team members voiced doubt, hesitation, and emotional blocks. There was skepticism, there were insecurity, there were confusion. All these things were prevailed, but they expressed it openly. That's the first aspect. It happened in the discussions. What this revealed? Motivational risks. Doubt about the project purpose itself, which is very, very important to get clarified so that they are very clear in their mind about what the project is all about, what is the outcome is all about, and what is their role in this particular saying. Skill gaps, lack of customer understanding, uncertainty in positioning, all these things were there. And that is where you'll find that some of the team members took initiative and thereby they filled the gaps, which made a big difference. The third is the emotional resistance, fear of being seen as incompetent. In spite of the fact that there was gaps, knowledge gaps or other gaps, Meera didn't put them down. She allowed them to express it out and looked at how we can fill in this gap. That is very important. And lastly, instead of brushing these doubts aside, Meera surfaced them and helped them convert it into a possible action. So what is the impact of naming challenges early? I think some of these things were answered by Hitendra sir. Yes, team members admitted doubt, hesitation, knowledge gaps. So this gave an opening as to what are the real concerns, what are the real challenges, so that how to overcome it rather than uncertainty at the last minute. And that is something which Meera turned into a private concern, into a collective conversation. When it's a collective conversation, what exactly happened? Ideas emerge from different sources, and that could solve many of the issues. Universal need fulfilled, need for psychological safety. No blame game. Everyone were said, okay, it's okay to be having knowledge gaps. We look how we can fulfill this knowledge gap. Individual fundamental needs fulfilled is need for fairness, being non-judgmental, allowing and giving them space, and having a emotional honesty. What exactly happened? This helped very much. The step represents a turning point. Admitting doubts or a lack of knowledge requires courage. It's because openness was encouraged, they were able to express with courage. This courage only appears when there is safety. Meera modeled and nurtured a non-judgmental space where vulnerability wasn't penalized. It was rather welcomed. See, this is a very important trait leaders should learn so that their team members can walk inside and express their concern. By treating doubts as shared challenges, not individual weaknesses, the team experienced fairness. No scapegoats, no blame game, only solution that was focused. And this built deep emotional equity. This is how team cohesion has been built. How a team need to function as one is what is looked into it by these aspects of it. What are the impact of not naming the challenges early? Team members feel isolated and disengaged if it is not named. So they will not know what exactly the thing is. Second, small issues can become hidden landmines. That can lead to blame game. Motivation erodes because people suppresses doubt rather than resolving them. And what exactly happens when you invite those voices? The team builds emotional honesty. Each one are prepared to openly express what they can do, what they cannot do, what are their limitations. All these things are being brought out. People feel heard, which fosters psychological safety. And most importantly, concerns turn into actionable insights rather than festering. Festering is nothing but talking to themselves with dissatisfaction, which can lead to internal resistance. And what exactly Meera did? She allowed the team to prepare mentally and practically. It builds resilience by acknowledging that setbacks and discomforts are part of the journey, not signs of failure. In any journey, it's not a flat road. It's an up and down, and there can be hardships they can encounter in the process. So it's a part of the journey and it's not a sign of failure. And this is a very, very important aspect you will find with what Meera did. Okay. Once the clarity is there, once you have identity of complexity and you are aware of the challenges, the fourth stage is the team comes to a commitment. Where it happened, team members voluntarily stepped up, and what all they did, you just remember, one requested for customer interview. 5 people I will go and interview. That's what he said. Second, the design team said, we will, sales team said, marketing team said, we will rebuild positioning. And the design team said, we will create a dashboard for tracking. All these things, they voluntarily expressed instead of Meera assigning the task. And what made it to work? It's psychological safety allowed these initiatives. Second, a clear sense of purpose kept people emotionally invested in the project. Third, the project no longer belonged to Meera. It belonged to the team. This is a very, very important aspect which a team leader need to do. He had to ensure that the team job or the project is not about the leader. It's all about the entire team, empowering them to take decisions, and thereby, as a team, they succeed rather than the leader taking the full credit and said, I am responsible for credit. The commitment also helped. What exactly the thing is, the team members began taking ownership of outcomes, volunteering for tasks, engaging with customers, and refining the messages that were there. Universal need fulfilled, need for autonomy and contribution. Here what we say, autonomy is also very important because their own thinking need to be encouraged. Sometimes the best ideas come from ordinary people, and contribution need to be looked into it and valued. Third, the fundamental need is need for self-direction and making an impact in the overall project. What exactly is the justification? People move from complaints to commitment. That shift happens only when individuals feel that they choose to act, not they are being compelled to act. By enabling people to self-initiate, value-adding actions is being encouraged. Meera honored the need for autonomy. People felt a sense of personal relevance to team outcomes, a sign of genuine engagement, which is very, very essential. And that is where her commitment and the team commitment all merge together and align so that the overall team performance enhances. What is the difference between compliance and commitment? Can anyone say?
Compliance is legal. We are
Compliance
following-
means conforming to the
Compliance is
requirement.
forced upon, commitment comes from within.
Yeah, actually, compliance is nothing but
adhering to the rules and regulations enforced by someone else. And commitment is nothing but something which emerges on your own.
Thank you, Ravi Shankar sir. One is extrinsic and another is intrinsic. That's what is the most important thing. What science showed this team has crossed over into genuine commitment. Let us look into it. One, the team members volunteered. And we also see they questioned assumptions, redefined problems, and devised solutions. Thirdly, what they did, the progress didn't depend on reminders. It automatically happened because every every Friday, 15 minutes they spent, and they also uploaded in dashboard whatever the progress that was happening regularly. Proactivity, people self-assigned work and they executed without expecting Mira to follow it up. Personal investment, the success or failure mattered to them as a whole team. It's no more, okay, main mera kaam kar diya, I did my job, I'm not bothered about the outcome. That's not the way they looked into it. For everyone, the outcome, the results were very, very important. Adaptability, they modified their approach to achieve the desired outcome. Whenever they had problems, they looked at alternatives. And that's what we saw in the sales team bouncing, sales presentation bouncing, the entire redesigning was done. Like Ravichandran sir was talking about the Scrum part of it, where redesigning is what is being done. Compliance is doing what is assigned. It is externally motivated and usually short term, whereas commitment is internal ownership. It's when people go beyond the task limit listed and to make sure the goal is successful. And that's what Mira did in this particular assignment as a team lead, which is a very, very important aspect because she set the objectives. The next step, what are the things we have seen? Can anyone quickly recall? What are the steps we looked into it? Can anyone recall quickly what are the aspects which touched? First, we talked about clarity. After that,
Complexity,
very good.
challenges,
Challenges,
commitment,
commitment. Okay, very good. I'm glad that you are all following it up, and that's very important. That's what I wanted to check it out with you people. Right. We'll go into the next step. Monitoring, right? Okay. Just 1 second. Commitment. This is what we looked into it, correct? The team members voluntarily serve. We already seen this. Commitment. We saw how the need for autonomy, everything was there. What are the differences? This also we have covered it. Now we come down to the 5th step, that is monitoring. Where it happened? Weekly 15 minutes review, transparent dashboard, pattern tracking, quick course correction. Wins and missteps were both visible and discussed without any blame being assigned. Thus, monitoring was continuously happening. What this enabled? This enabled adjustments whenever the leads dropped at the demo stage. We saw that the sales team, when they gave the presentation, 50% of it were bouncing. So what exactly the thing is? The adjustments that need to be done. Cancellation of the unnecessary features so that it becomes more crisp. Real-time learning and collective intelligence. What exactly happened? Whenever they had a meeting, they understood that there were problems that were emerging during the project and they adjusted themselves very well. And lastly but not least, the team stayed focused without being micromanaged. This is very, very important. See, many times teams fail because they are micromanaged. People have been asked, what did you do? How did you do? Are you ahead in the project? How are you going to complete the project? All these things is what you will find normal leaders talk about. Whereas what Meera intelligently did was, she didn't talk about all these things. She didn't do micromanaging. What she did was to allow them to have space so that they are able to express and they stay committed. And that is very, very important for us. Unlike micromanagement, which is not a helpful one, but it is boss enforced. It involved shared dashboard and check-in, not policing. See, policing is something what most of the normal team does. I'm sure many of you, if you would have been in IT, you would find that each day they will ask, what is the progress you have made? When did you do that? At what time you logged in? At what time you logged out? What did you complete today? All these things are nothing but policing. And shared dashboard is something which was encouraged. And not only that, you'll also find that unlike end stage evaluation, feedback was a continuous process, not one-time aspect. See, when the feedback was continuous, what exactly happened? The good, bad, ugly, everything emerged, and the team was able to discuss within themselves what is the next step they have to take. The team could adjust strategy midstream, not just reflect after failure. This is a very important aspect for a team success to happen. Regular monitoring provides a sense of progress which fuels motivation. And you'll find that people know where they stand, how they are progressing, whether there is correction that need to be done, and they stay engaged. And that way you will find that the monitoring helps them to progress step by step. So we have already seen 5 important steps. The first one is having a clear clarity on purpose and role, which is very, very important for each team member, so that the universal need as well as the fundamental need are met. This is one thing which you will find it very important. The second aspect we looked into it was the complexities. There are a lot of complexities we saw, including knowledge gaps, including things they don't know about customer. In fact, they even were not sure what this project was all about. And that is overcome just because they worked as a team. And the third one we found was, what is the third one? Can anyone throw a light? Hello?
Challenges.
First is?
Challenges.
Huh?
Challenges.
Challenges.
Challenges. Very good. Thank you. What is that in the challenges they encountered? I'm just going for a quick recall of the whole process which we underwent. What are the challenges they faced? Can you bring it out? Even if you look into it, the sales head
The challenges
was,
they have.
yes, you are Priya ma'am, little louder.
Yes, sir. The challenges they have faced is skepticism, insecurity, concerns regarding the targets, and they have faced the emotional resistance in the itself.
Wonderful. Very nice. Very nice. Anything else? Can you just give an example where exactly in the case study it came up?
When they held the first session and addressing someone's were nodding, so after that they have addressed the emotional needs of the ones who nodded.
Very good. Very good. What else?
And their doubts and emotional needs were addressed, and Meera ma'am didn't just hear out their emotional needs, but she also stood out and helped them to overcome each and everyone's in a particular way they needed.
No, she didn't give solutions. What is very important is she didn't give solutions. She allowed discussion so that the team themselves came out with their own solution. That's a very important aspect which you will find it out. In challenges, usually expert model, what exactly happens is the expert comes and says, do this, do this, do this, so that the problem is solved. Whereas what we have looked into it is do it yourself, learn. There can be pitfalls, but this process will enhance your experience. It will make you more intelligent. You will come out with your own solutions, and thereby the team is overall empowered. And that's a very important aspect. And there is no micromanagement also. It's not a top-down approach that we saw in this particular case. It was each and every member of the team were able to express, involve, and do things. At one stage, even if you look into it, the sales head itself was saying, are you doing anything purposeful? Meera didn't brush it aside. She smiled and said, okay, we will put it for discussion, this particular point, right? What she did was more and more empowering the team so that the challenges will arise. I'm not saying that the challenges will not arise, but how you handle the challenges, how you empower the team to express, how you allow them to make mistakes and then learn and correct themselves. These are ways how a good team lead need to work on it. And that's what will help to the fourth step, that is commitment. A committed team always stays together. That's why you find that at the end of the project, not one team member left. Usually in IT companies, you will find that Ayaram, Gayaram, that's a word Hindi mein hai. For those who don't know Hindi, let me tell, they came, they saw, they left. And that's normal in many of the IT companies. Whereas in this case, because they had a commitment, they all stayed together in spite of a lot of difficulties they encountered, because they had a value that, yes, I'm not the alone in this struggle. There is a team which is backing me up. We will overcome as a team so that I don't need to be blamed. I have the support of the entire team. And the last one, what we saw was, fifth one?
Monitoring.
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 Monitoring. See, monitoring is not a one-time process. See, what exactly happens in many times in the leadership is that people see that they just do once in a while monitoring. Here in this case, what exactly happened? The dashboards were created. Everyone were able to see the dashboard, correct? And everyone knew what are the progresses, what are the bottlenecks, what are the difficulties they are encountering. So each one can come out with a solution so that the entire team can overcome the solution. Similarly, the Friday meeting, 15 minutes meeting, made a big difference. And lastly but not least, it's not about monitoring is from top down. Each one had a self-monitoring system. That's very important. See, I'm responsible for my task. I don't need to wait for my team lead to do that. And that's a very, very important aspect which you will find it out if you have to work as a team. So what we just come in this case study of setting objectives is that, I'll stop sharing. Yeah. In this case study, what we have looked into it is that when you set objectives instead of assigning tasks, when you involve the entire team in any discussion, when you empower them, you will find that the team is able to perform much better than what you expect to do. See, there are a lot of potential. Like Arun sir usually puts a slide, you remember about what Krishna says in Mahabharata? Can anyone recall, the old timers?
Yeah, we choose the shortest path. That is the problem. The mind chooses the comfort zone.
Comfort zone.
We remain in the comfort zone, right? We don't test our own potential, and thereby what exactly happened? We are taking smaller tasks. which is easily achievable. Whereas the real potential actually comes when you face challenges, when you take difficult assignments. And that's what Mira did successfully. And that's a very good example of leadership. And that is
Sir,
something which we would like. Yeah, so someone is saying something. Yes, please.
Yes, Suresh, Hanmantra here. Just please, generally, this the IT industry also project management. They will be following this agile project management system. Sprint. They will this process. They generally will follow. No, generally you are telling.
Sir, what you say is theoretically there is a lot of things that will happen. Of course,
Okay.
there are teams where they are empowered and they are perfectly working. But what exactly happens is in 95% of the cases, the leader assigns the task and they have a weekly breakup. See, I know many of my friends who are working in IT industry where they used to say, week 1, you have to do this. Week 2, you have to do this. Week 3, you are supposed to do. Balakrishnan sir, how is in your case, in your industry, sir? Do you have weekly set goals that's been assigned?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are doing it weekly, monthly, yearly, like that.
Yeah. So what is very important is usually weekly goals are given, but how they are going to achieve it, how I can empower it, how this process has to undergo is where the setting of the objectives becomes very
And the setting objectives will be done in this agile management automatically. That mails also will go, trigger will go. Their task is pending or with colors will come different colors. It will go to the project manager that alerts. That process I say. Why means the system is there, no? The consistency of the project success will be there. It is like a individually based, Mira basis means it is individual again. How much it is a consistent result will come in other projects we don't know. Just that is my input.
Actually, here also they talked about dashboards. Okay, as you rightly said, dashboards are there. But let me also say, I have worked in 2 companies where dashboards are regular, but people don't look at the dashboards on a day-to-day thing. Only when there is a meeting, people come and look at the dashboard. This is a common problem that can encounter about. I'm not blaming, I'm not saying that Agile is not same. Okay. But what exactly the thing is, just because there is a dashboard, that doesn't assure you that everyone are aware of the dashboard and how they are looking into it. I still remember the discussion between Arun sir and Balakrishnan sir. Do you remember Balakrishnan sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The dashboards are very, very important. So even today, I'm improving because of that. Let me clearly tell you that.
Yeah. So now you have started very closely monitoring the dashboards, correct?
Sports every day the people has to enter progress. Otherwise, it's no use. Every day they have to enter the progress.
Right. See, every day when they are entering the progress, is it being reviewed? What corrective steps are made? All these things are mattering. I'm sure now, after the mentorship and other aspects, a lot of things would have happened. But what I'm trying to say is, normal company, don't look at you. Don't look at you because you are trained. Look at other managers. Dashboards are there in many of the companies, right? That many people may not follow. That is where the issue comes. Solutions are there, but are we taking the solution? How empowering we are to the team is what we look into it, which matters a lot. Is there any questions or any doubts people have in what we looked into this session?
Mr. Suresh, I think there are 2 more slides. You have not touched that.
Yeah. I'm coming, sir. I'm coming. This actually I've already talked about it. Cancellation of unnecessary features. The team stayed focused without being micromanaged. And they use shared board to log progress 15 minutes. Need for growth and mastery. Fundamental need is need for learning, feedback, and system improvement. Monitoring wasn't about micromanagement. It is about a way to learn as a team.
Please share the
Hello?
slide, sir.
We are not able to
Is
see
it
slides,
shared?
sir. Any slide? There is no sharing slide. Please
Okay,
share.
one second, one second, one second.
Keep in slide mode, sir.
Monitoring?
Slide mode. Slide mode. Ah, thank you.
Yeah. They used a chatbot to log in progress, blockers, and lessons and spend 15 minutes every Friday reviewing it to identify the patterns not assigned. And there is no blame game that was played. And that's a very important aspect which we already discussed. Universal need fulfilled, need for growth and mastery, which was encouraged, and that is exactly what happened. Need for learning, feedback, and systemic improvement was looked into it. And because of that, what exactly the justification was? Monitoring wasn't about micromanagement, it is a way to learn as a team. When they spotted the bounce rate at the demo stage, they improved the product instead of pointing fingers. This kind of feedback loop supports the need for continuous learning. People grow when feedback is constructive, not corrective. Usually corrective aspects happens when they point out and say, you didn't do this, so you do this so that it will get corrected. But in this case, it was constructive. What can we do? How we can improve the situation? So the people are able to come out with their own ideas. It shows that their environmental values evolutions over perfectionism. How does regular monitoring affect motivation? Empowers the team when real-time awareness, builds a culture of accountability without fear. Whatever that accountability is there, they are able to say, oh, this is what I did. These are the areas where the gap is there, which I would like to take power. So they empower themselves. Reinforce that progress isn't perfection. It is a reflection and redirection, which means there can be certain time setbacks, which we look into it, reflect upon it, and then progress ahead. How did this team monitoring approach different from micromanagement or end-stage evaluation? First aspect we will find is monitoring was team-driven, not boss-enforced. This is a very important aspect. In Woodward, shared dashboards and check-ins, not policing. The focus was on learning, not blame. Third, you will find that feedback was continuous, not a one-time. We covered all these aspects of it. Regular monitoring provides a series of progress which fuels motivation. It helps people know where they stand, make corrections early, and stay in. Okay, any questions? That's what we are looking into it. I'm sorry, these two slides I orally discussed. The slide I didn't present it. Okay. Any questions you would like
Yes,
to
sir.
ask? Yeah. 1 second, I'll stop share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generally, if you see what is the process we are following in our company project management, some structure is there, some system is there. Means generally before Gantt chart also, Gantt chart is generally we are following. Why means first we have to make the plan after the project allocation and that budget and all things we have to project definition, then budget we have to, then only the project will approve, then only we have to give the start time, end time. Based on that only they will approve the project. Generally, that process is like a it is a mandatory general I seen. In proprietorship company, I don't know, but as a corporate culture, this process we have to follow structure. That only I see. And challenges also
Okay.
first before only what is the minimal project risk is there we have to identify before going to the project. Those risk micro, not a micro level, something overview level we have to identify the risk. Those things will happen generally. But here some deviation is happening based on the Mira, maybe based on his different strategy. I think that maybe it is worked also in the project completion. How to put into the system, I am not sure. So please, can you guide?
Okay. So since you talked about Gantt chart, which is part of the project management. In any project management, we also look into gaps. What are the possible challenges that can come in the process? Need to be written. It's a 360-degree review that need to go before the project is put into practice. Not only that, there is a continuous aspect of monitoring the progress and discussion in any project team.
Can I intervene,
Project
Mr.
management.
Suresh, if you
Yeah.
don't mind?
Yeah, please, sir.
Mr. Hanumantrao,
Yes, sir.
the Gantt chart is a timeline management. To have specific milestones and to manage those milestones and ensure that you are progressing as per your plan, you prepare a Gantt chart. What we are discussing here is about how to create an objective. What is the reason behind it? The reason behind it is 99% of the corporate companies, be it corporate or government or anywhere, the objectives are failed. They don't reach the objective. Why? Only because 85% of the people are disengaged and only 50% are engaged. Now, this process is perfected by Latham. Earlier, there was a SMART goal system. You talk about the specific, measurable goals,
Achievable.
right?
Realistic,
Achievable,
achievable, time
and
bound.
that is
Time
the
bound.
biggest disaster which is happening in the world. Over 35 years of research on goal setting brought Bill Latham to decide that this is not going to work, and that is where this 4CM model came in, which is called the clarity, complexity, challenges, commitment, monitoring model. Now, these are not 4 separate steps. You first fix up a clear objective, which also involves the SMART way of creating goals. Once the clarity is there, you disseminate the clarity to understand the complexities involved in it. The complexity is not about the project, the complexity about the goal. For instance, you want to go to Mumbai. You are in Hyderabad. Is there any complexity in it? Your objective is to go to Mumbai. What are the complexities involved in it?
Generally, the tickets confirmation, either where
Money, booking
money,
tickets,
budget,
allotting time.
and what is the rainy
So
season?
all these things are complexities. You
Yeah.
have to first solve all those complexities before you can embark on your journey, right? The moment you realize that 5,000 rupees is required, now the challenge comes. Where are you going to get the 5,000 from? When you realize how to get the 5,000, you feel confident that you will be able to go. That means what? Your commitment is there. Now you see, going to Bombay, the objective has thrown up certain complexities. Those complexities show you that you have got certain challenges which you have to solve before you can address it. Those challenges, when you realize how to address it, you develop better confidence and a commitment towards that goal. And now you start executing. That is where the monitoring of the execution starts. Now, this is the process which we have discussed in this class. The balanced 5 classes will be each one on each of these. The next one is titled No Clarity, No Commitment, the master class on goal setting. That is the first master class on goal setting, the first step. That will be on 29. All these 6 together will give you a clear-cut idea how to set goals so that the 85% of the people who are disengaged can be brought into the engaged category. Are you understanding, Mr. Hanumantrao, what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
See, we are not trying to say that what a corporate is doing or what the government is doing, who is doing what, is right or wrong. We are not here to judge that. We are only saying that if there is a gap between the employee's engagement and the objective of the organization, where does that gap arise? It arises because certain universal needs which have come from prehistoric times have not been addressed.
Yes, I understand.
See, no one is saying that, you have to go from the bottom up in goal setting. No. The people standing at the ground floor do not have the scope of vision of a person sitting on the top floor of a 10-story building. The 10-story building, when the chief executive is sitting on the top, he can see much further and much more clearer. So the goals have to be top down. It can't be bottoms up. Anyone saying it has to be bottoms up, in fact, is talking without understanding what is the reality. But that top down has to be bottom. So how do you bring that buy-in in the people? By assigning goals from the top is by ensuring the very first step that the meaning and purpose of the goal is understood by them. They understand the challenges which are the complexities of that goal. What are the challenges those complexities will throw up? How do you go about solving those challenges? That will bring about the commitment. There it doesn't stop. You need to constantly monitor so that you know how you are moving. Gantt chart is to create, milestones along the way. Supposing you've got a 6-month journey, where will you be at the end of 15 days? Where you will be at the end of 1 month, 1.5 months? This is what a Gantt chart is. So let's not confuse Gantt chart with goal setting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arun sir, for the clarity. I hope Hanumantrao sir, you are
Yes, sir.
very much
Yes,
cleared on
very clear,
your
sir.
doubts.
Very clear.
Right, sir.
Thank you, Arun sir, once again.
And as we rightly said, the 5-step process is something very important for employee engagement. We already saw that Gallup survey very clearly said that 85% of the people are
Not
disengaged.
engaged. Not.
Okay, that's in spite of the fact that there is an objective that's set at the top, there is a clear goal, and every target is being set. But what exactly happens? It is not achieved because all these steps are not followed. And that's
See, one
what
simple question that we all need to ask is, corporates are spending crores and crores of rupees on training their people. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Where are they going with all that? The disengagement doesn't seem to be reducing. In fact, the latest report says that 85% has gone up to 87%. If in 2022 it was 85% disengagement, 2024 Gallup says it is 87%. Where did this extra 2% come from? That means we are doing things as a ritual. Without understanding what exactly it is that we have to do, we are doing. It is something like, going and joining a program, keeping your videos muted. Why? There could be two possible reasons. You are doing something else behind that screen, so you are not focusing on what's happening. Or worse still, you might not be there at all behind the screen. And then, you say, I attended this program. Good. Done. A feather in your cap. And what did you learn? In fact, the truth is there is something called a cognitive friction drawback. How many of you have heard of it?
Explain, sir.
Huh? Have you heard of something called a cognitive friction drop?
No, sir.
All of you
No,
are there
sir.
in the group, and I had posted a big post on cognitive friction drop that speaks volumes about your commitment to learn. I'm sorry. I have this bad habit of calling out people. You're all there in the group. I have written about the cognitive friction drop. Any trade-off involves a cognitive friction. Should I do this? Should I do that? This cognitive friction creates the realization and consciousness in people about value of things. Unfortunately, the society today teaches us the price of things, but never the value of things. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. We are there in the group, we don't read the post, we don't think about it, we don't ponder about it, we don't reflect about it. And which universal need does it fulfill? The need to belong. But we forget, even in the oldest of times, in the prehistoric times, the need to belong went with safety. Till you contributed to the group never bothered about you. Just imagine, in the prehistoric times, you are in a tribe. Yes, wanting to belong to the tribe is very essential, because otherwise you will not get food, you will not be safe from animals, people will not stand by you. But if you don't contribute, if you are a dead weight around their neck, how long do you think you are going to benefit from that tribe? Ask yourself. Read, friends. I'm telling you, this robotics and AI is going to make people obsolete. It is only the thinkers who are going to grow and survive. Wake up. Go and look up cognitive friction drop. It's a very, very, very important concept. That is how you internalize how to create value, how to recognize value, and how to, address value. If you don't know how to address value creation, which involves trade-off, there are multiple choices in front of you. Which one you are going to address will create a cognition friction. You have to learn to assess between what is and what can be. Only then you will be able to create value. And if you are not going to be valuable, it's not going to work. Okay. I think it's 10 o'clock in India.
Yes, sir. 10:06.
I'm sure you're all
10:06.
waiting to
Yes,
go to
sir.
bed or go have your dinner. The next session is on 22nd, the Motivated Mind Part 2. It's about the balance sheet which is there in the mind. The mind also has a balance sheet. It keeps, drawing a balance sheet to decide what is and what is not. And that's what helps you to stay or stray. And that's the session on 22nd. I'll be taking that session. If you have time, please do come. Come with your videos on. Sorry. You are facing a very lousy trainer. I don't fit into any of the standard trainer coach definition. They are supposed to pamper to you, isn't it? Not call you out. Anyway, 29th, Suresh will again be taking the session on no clarity, no commitment. The master class on the first step of goal setting, which is about clarity. The clarity has got 8 steps. What it is, how you can create clarity for your goal. We will be addressing that. Following that session will be by Mr. Suresh after 15 days. That will be on how to disseminate that goal into the complexities which it has. Like that, it will reach to the monitoring end. We will be giving you actionable steps so that you can, implement it in your personal life as well as in your professional life. If you have any questions, you can post it in the group. And with folded hands, please read the posts. The post is not for Germans and Russians. It is for you. Read it. Thank you, Suresh. It was a wonderfully presented session. Great. We look forward to more sessions from you.
Thanks, Suresh, sir.
Suri, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
When
opportunity.
are
I'll
you
still
going
improve
to rise up
myself.
to the occasion?
Thank you, Suresh, sir.
Thank you, Suresh, sir. Excellent session.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Suresh, sir.
Suri sir, when are you going to rise up to the occasion?
Sorry, sir.
Suri sir.
I'll. Suresh sir, Brown. Sir will speak on the order.
Sir.
When are
Sir,
you
when
going
Sir. बोलिए.
So when are you going to give your session on project management, DRDO?
After Suresh, sir.
Sir, Yuan.
He has got
You are smart
huge
enough.
experience. Now we spent about 8-10 days going together to Sabarimala, and he was telling me stories of what all happened in his project on the Brahmos, and I told him that you should come and give this on the platform. He promised, but I never knew, that we are shifted to politics. Only
Yes.
politicians promise and don't keep it.
Suri sir.
In fact, I will be odd man out, sir. I am only because to tell about
Right.
the naval projects, then I need to tell about the dynamics of the sea.
So
and the
please,
ship construction.
we will learn something now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It will be a
Okay.
pleasure to share your
Definitely.
adventure with us.
Okay. I'll list out the topics and then send it to you.
Sure, sir. We are
You tell
looking
me
forward
when
for
you
your
want the
sessions.
platform, I will give it. You come and give it. Let's keep the suspense. You don't even have to tell me.
Done, sir. I'll let you know.
Okay.
I will stream. Okay, sir. See you.
Okay, माथुर साहब आप कब आ रहे हैं शिकागो?
मैं 20 को आ रहा हूँ सर. 20th.
आप आ रहे हो न्यूयॉर्क आ रहे हो? अरेंज करो कोलंबिया में क्लास.
नहीं, न्यूयॉर्क का भी कह नहीं सकता. वहां आने के बाद बताऊंगा.
नहीं, आप मुझे 1 हफ्ते का कम से कम टाइम दीजिएगा, तभी मैं अरेंज कर सकूंगा आपके लिए.
हाँ, अभी वहां आने के बाद आपसे बात करेंगे. फिर मेरा भी नंबर ले लीजिए सर. आप एक आपने जो कहा था करो.
हाँ?
जैसे आपने अनिल सर
Sir, we will stop the recording, sir. Sir, we will stop the recording.
Okay.